embroidery today. I'm not very good at it. I'm completely new, and I can't find my embroidery hoop right now, so that's a thing. But I think this embroidery that I'm doing today is going to be pretty simple, and I think I should be able to do it just fine. Yeah, I'm just opening this up so I can see the comments. But welcome. We can do this embroidery together. So I've been doing some different trials of embroidery. So I made this honeycomb stitch and I made it like really big so that it would be reminiscent of a honeycomb. And I thought I would just keep it like really simple and like minimalistic for this journal cover that I made. I didn't put any of the innards in yet, but I gotta get a move on. I have a craft fair this Saturday and I gotta get these done because I thought like yellow bumblebee flowers, daisies, sunflowers. I thought that would be good for the timing. It's before Mother's Day, so if anyone likes that, I got this stamp pad to stamp some of the papers that I'll be putting on the inside. I just have it out here for inspiration because I'm just doing a cover today and just making this one here. So I'll be making. Sorry, I just noticed that you can see the screen and that's confusing. All right. so, so I have my stamps here, my honeybee stamps, but we can go through them. It has like a little flower. It has the honeycomb here and some nice fuzzy looking bees. I love fuzzier bees. And then some of these are more, like this one here is more, it's actually kind of menacing looking, but it's more, definitely less fluffy. And then this is a bee with a sunflower. Here's another flower here, and then there's like the honey drop, and like you're supposed to put this and this together to be like a nice honey drop. And then here's another honey jar. Here's another honey jar with some flowers and some more honeycombs. And then let's see what the words say. This just says honey, and this says be happy. So I have been doing some trials. Like I said, I made this one here, the minimalistic honeycomb look, and then this one here. I made I started to make a sunflower, but I loved the inner part of the sunflower that I've done so far, like where the seeds would go and stuff. I love that. But I tried some different trials of different kinds of petals and I hate them all. So I think I might scrap that, take them all out, pick that all out, and then just either draw it with a marker, like a permanent marker or a fabric marker. I might paint it on with gold fabric paint, which I have, or I might just do a satin stitch because the background of this is already the right color for a sunflower, kind of. So I might satin stitch around the petals. Haven't decided that yet. We might get to that later. But today we're doing the bees. So you might not be able to see this very well, but I drew little like buzzy lines, so like the little flight path lines for where I want to have my bees coming from. And then at the very end of those buzzy lines, I put a little place where I want to make the bee. So I'm going to start with that now. So I have my thread of choice. I'm going to start with the full 6 strands of embroidery thread. And I'm going to make those little bee bodies. So I'll start with the top one and then go down. So I know a lot of people don't make knots at the end of their embroidery. I don't understand that. Just, I mean, I understand it. I totally understand it because it's like cleaner, but especially without my embroidery hoop, I think I just want to go all the way to the end of my thread here, and it doesn't need to be a huge knot. And since I'm putting it on a cardboard, it's not a huge deal. Now, yeah, ideally I would have an embroidery hoop for this, but like I said, I can't find mine. I have some that I know have like pieces in them, and like I use them to decorate for my wedding, so I have some of those that I could take apart, but I didn't feel like doing that. So I'm just going to the end here of the bee body, and then I'm going to come back at the beginning of the bee body, right next to that other thread. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. So the tutorial that I saw said to do it 3 times, but I think I might want mine to be a little bit fatter. So I think I'll do it 5 times. And I lost track. Have you guys, has anyone seen the Patrick Stewart showing how to do the quadruple take? I feel like him. I've lost count halfway, so I don't know how many I did. But I'm going to pull another one through. That's my happy little bee body right there. Then I'm going to just go over to the next one. Same thread. And then here's the top of the next body. Or the front, I guess. And then here's the bottom. And then again, I'm going to have my needle come out just right beside where that thread went through. So I saw there's an option for doing a, like, no talking live. What's that about? Do people watch lives where people aren't talking? 'Cause maybe I'll do that, because sometimes I like watch YouTube, or I watch TV, or I listen to music, or I listen to an audiobook when I'm doing crafts. So I might do another, like I might do that sometimes and just make it silent. But like, would anybody watch that? I might watch that actually myself. I might watch somebody crafting in silence if I just want something for my eyes to look at. But as somebody who does a lot of crafting while I'm watching TV and stuff, I rely more on the sound to be the part that I pay attention to, like the audio part of it, and that's why I like audiobooks. They're so good. I'm a new audiobook listener actually. I stayed away from it for a long, long time because I didn't have Libby, and then I just thought, it wasn't for me because I really like reading physical books. And I watch so much TV that I have other things to kind of occupy my time. So that right there, what I just did, is the biggest reason it is harder without the embroidery hoop, because I just pulled it like that, and if I wasn't paying attention, I could easily make that go too far. And then even after, if I pull it, and then the fabric underneath might get a little wrinkled, and I don't want that. So I'm doing a really simple stitch today. Just a little buzzy bee. Alright, and I just have 3 more. Down here. I'm just going to keep going. And I don't know if I know I said in the beginning, but this is going to be a journal cover. Let me put this one up here, like this. So you can see what I'm working towards. A couple of journal covers. Oop. So there's that. Let me switch them so they can both fit. There we go. So here you can see this one I stamped, and then I outlined everything around it. And then this one I did a honeycomb embroidery. And that's the first time I did a honeycomb embroidery. And you can kind of tell that I didn't have my hoop then either. So I do, I'm working on my embroidery, I think as I get better at embroidery, I could even just sell the embroidery as decoration. But at this point, I think putting it on a journal is kind of a perfect way to utilize the things that I'm learning how to do. And I'm really good at making journals, so it's still a good product. And then it's still something a little bit special, but it's not like super nice embroidery, and I think that's okay. What do you guys think? Let me know. Like, would you be offended if you got like if you saw someone selling an embroidery that's like only so? So, as a crafter and someone who does craft fairs recently, I've been thinking about like, what sells and whatnot. Like, you can't help it, but I think a big thing that I always say is you have to make what you make because there is going to be someone who's better at embroidery than you. And you should, like, I would want the people who wanted a nice piece of embroidery to go to them, right? If I want, if someone wants a really nice junk journal or a really nice journal with paper crafts and stuff, then, and you like embroidery and you like this aesthetic, then come to me, right? So I always feel like you have to do what you do what you like and what works for you as a crafter, or else you'll be chasing the dragon. I just learned that term recently. You'll be chasing the dragon. Um, your entire career, and you don't want that. You don't want that. You're an artist, right? So there are people who that's what gives them joy, just making things that people will buy, like just going with the flow, and like that's what gives them their jollies. It's like kind of making a quick thing and then making money off of that, and that's not us, right? Like if you're watching this, it's probably not who you are. You're probably more of someone who has like an artistic heart and an artistic vision. And it's important to honor that because that's what makes you you. And then, like, there's already other people doing other things. And if you're like me, you're probably not too fond of those kinds of people who are just trying to manipulate people and like play to the things that they lack and play to what might make their lives easier. Wait, not that. what may not what makes um, the viewer or the reader or the purchaser of your things, not what they lack, what the artist lacks. I don't know. I'm just blathering now. Did everyone have a good holiday yesterday? I think it was Pass. I think Passover was recent and Easter yesterday. Birthday is tomorrow. Alright, so I'm done with the yellow part. And then I don't tie the end, but this is what it looks like on the back because I just connected them all. And then there is some slack there, so that it doesn't, what's the word? It doesn't wrinkle the fabric. And then I just kind of leave that like that because I'm going to glue it down anyway eventually. So I just leave it out like that and then I don't have to worry about tying it now. So now, so that was all of the yellow that I need to do. So now I have gray. Like instead of white, I decided on gray for the wings. That was for instead of white. I think traditionally people would use white for the wings, but I think gray looked a little bit better. Here, I have some white here. I think gray looked a little bit better than the white against this color, and also I think the gray is a little bit more like diaphanous wing-like. And I don't know. I probably won't use the full 6. I haven't decided yet for the wings. So let's do the black because that's going to start making things pop and then we'll finish with the wings. The black, I think I will also do the full 6 threads together. Alright, so if you don't know, I'll just have a little embroidery talk. So here is the thread. And then if you were to separate all of these threads, there's 6 of them. There's 6 tiny threads, and then they are spun together to make the big thread. You can easily undo all of this and make a single stitch, which we'll probably do later. But that's like for cross stitch and stuff, you might be using some thinner ones, but for this, I want it to be nice and thick, so I'm going to use the full 6 black. So let me see if I can thread this on camera. Nailed it! Okay, and then I pull it through like, I don't know, some. Oh no, I think I missed one. Did I? What's happening here? Okay, there we go. Yeah, it was like one got pulled through twice or something. So let me just spin that back together. Alright, and now we're going to make the bees. So we'll start with the longer one. Hold on, sometimes I have to trace like the path that I'm going to make with the black. Okay, I got it. I'm just tying a knot. Like I said, I know some people don't do knots because it's like it's not good for like a actual piece of embroidery or a piece of clothing to have that knot because it's bulky. But because I'm going to be adding glue and like all sorts of stuff anyway, I'm putting just a little knot there. And we're going to start here with this one. And we'll start with the little trail and then we'll put the stripes on the bee. So I made little loop-de-loop trails. And I'm just, I think this is called a satin stitch. Or, actually, I don't think it's called a satin stitch. I don't know any of my stitch names. So But to go through, I'm just going over a few and then I'm coming back out right there so that there is a little bit of a gap in the black. Because that gives the idea that the bee was there but is no longer there. And I'm just going around the little line that I made. I might have to do a little bit for the round part. I don't know how close together I need to make them because I don't want it to look like a square. Right, so then I just went around like that and then I crossed it there. And then instead of going right up by the bee, or right up at the like back of the bee, I'm gonna go to the side here. And then that's where I'm gonna put the first stripe. If I can fit 2 stripes, I will fit 2 stripes. And on this one, I think I can. And then I'm actually, instead of going right next to the yellow body of the bee, I'm going to go a little bit underneath so that it can like kind of bunch it a little bit. Maybe you'll be able to see what I mean when I pull this through. Yeah. Okay, I think I can do one more. Alright, and there's the little bee body. Then I'm going to go to this one and then do the same thing. I'm going to start with the body on this one. Alright, there's the little stripes for that one. And then for this one, I actually put the trail going onto the back. So if this is going to fold like that over a book, the trails are going to go all the way to the back cover as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And now, since I have longer little strokes, or a longer way. I can do longer strokes and longer, like, holidays. So one of my teachers, I went to a one-room schoolhouse. One of my teachers in the one-room schoolhouse, when we were like painting anything, so if we missed a part, oh, that's why it looks weird. There we go. I had my thread doubled up, but I just needed to pull that out a little bit more. She would call any part of like what we painted, if we missed a spot, she would call it a holiday, because your paint went on holiday, or you as the painter went on holiday when you decided to do that spot. She wasn't British. But she did say rubbish, though. I remember one time she asked me to put something in the rubbish bin, and I like did not know what she meant, but I was just like, okay, because I was obedient, goody two shoes kind of person. And then I just like I walked over to like the kitchen area where she had pointed, and I was just like standing there for like, I don't know, 5 minutes. And then she was like, hey, do you know what rubbish means? And I was like, no. And then she was like, okay, you should ask me. You could ask me. Or I don't know if she said that. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I was very shy, very quiet, and I wasn't rewarded for asking things, so I didn't ask things. But we did have a Scottish teacher. And when she came, she was like, she talked to the other teachers and she was like, who's your best writer? Because I know a girl who wants a pen pal in the States. And that is how I got my first pen pal. Her name was Katrina. And it was spelled Catriona. And I was like, wow, Scotland is weird. I wasn't really like that, but I was like, wow, that's like, I feel like they would never spell that Katrina that way here. But I don't know if I've met another Katrina, actually. I met a Karina, Karina. She was my stand partner. We played violin. She was my stand partner for years. But she also isn't American, or she's American now, but she just doesn't have an American name. Yeah, so I don't know if Katrina. I don't know if I've met a Katrina besides her. Alright, so that is the long trail for that one. So I think I'm going to, instead of continuing on with the black, right now I'll do some of the wings for these, but I'm going to get another needle for that. So I'm just going to keep that there so I can continue with the black ones later. And then I'm getting a smaller needle. And then I can show you how to... Oh good, this is a shorter piece. So this is how you can separate it. So you just kind of pull it apart. You can untwist it and like do this, or you can just like kind of go at it until you find a piece come off. So I think I will do 2 for this one. No, I'll do 3. It's coming off at 3, so I'm going to let the thread tell me what it wants to do. So then you'll see that it gets really spirally. Like, so you'll want to undo the spirals. It'll make it easier when you're stitching later. And now I don't know which 3 I split. Okay, there we go. And then just keep pulling, and you have 2 pieces of string. I'm going to put one of those to the side. I'm going to take out this thread, whatever thread this is. And I'm going to see if I can thread this on camera again. Harder with the smaller needle. It's hard because I have to get close to see what I'm doing. It also can sometimes be hard to get all of them because they're all kind of like edgy. So sometimes I try folding it over and doing it like that. Alright, did I miss one? Well, now the thread's telling me that it only wants to do 2. So I'm gonna take that extra one off. Okay. And I'm just tying my knot at the end. Then for the wings, you do a lazy daisy stitch, a single lazy daisy. This is one of the few stitches that I know. I'm learning, but I'm not like super duper committed to learning embroidery. Like if I wanted to commit to that, I would. And I would learn all of the different stitches and everything. But I usually just do the embroidery just to do like a little something special for the front of my journals. But I do like it. I think if I had more hoops and stuff, then it might be something that I do while I'm watching TV and stuff. So, okay, Lazy Daisy Stitch. It's really easy. That's why they call it lazy, I think. So I'm going to come in here. Oh wait, first I need to think what kind of wings I want. Like, do I want it from the side? Oh, hello! A face reveal? I have lots of faces on a lot of my videos. But if you want to see my face, I don't mind. But let me do this first. Yeah, if you're still here, I know I'm not very good at watching the chat, but if you're still here, let me know. Say hello, and I will do a face reveal for you. All right. So, like I was saying, I want to know, like, if what direction the bee is facing. If it's like, okay, if you're seeing it from the back like this, then you can see all four. If you're seeing it from the side, then you would just see like the two going up. You know what I mean. So I'm gonna do this one. I'll do just the two, like two wings coming up. So lazy daisy, you pull your string through from the back to the front, then you put it down through right next to it from the front to the back, like that. And then, however long you want your daisy petal, or in this case, your bee wing to be, that's where you put your needle coming up again from the back to the front. So I think I want it to come out here. Yeah, you can also decide the direction, because you could put it like coming up here, more towards like the front of the bee. Oh, but I want to do the back wing first. So I'll put it there. And then when I pull this through, it makes the shape of the wing. Cute, right? And then to secure that down, you just do a stitch back down here, right next to that thread. And then that holds everything where it needs to be. Oops. Then for the second wing, we're going to do exactly the same thing. So I'm overlapping the wings a little bit because that is accurate, I think. Oh no, hold on. I think I have two layers going on. So it's kind of like when you run out of thread on your bobbin and like you can't tell because the bobbin's on the underneath part. You have to like go back and see how long you've been doing this stupid mistake. That's what I'm doing right now. I got so into teaching how to do the lazy daisy. And I wasn't paying attention. All right. I'm getting there. This part was supposed to be the easy part, the wings. But sometimes this happens. And nothing's tied up yet, so you can just easily pull it out. Sometimes it's hard to tell, like, which side is the side that is extra. It's also like, I'm going to show you back here. It's also like all tangled up with the yellow thread. All right. Oh, I think I got it. Did I get it? Close. I should have been telling a story when I was doing this. Another story about the one-room schoolhouse. This is a disaster. What did I do? Disaster. You guys seen Happy Slip is back? I haven't watched her newest video, but I saw a couple of her videos come out. Alright. I'm gonna call it. I can't get it back out, but at least it's not like sticking out funny. Alright. So like I was saying about doing what the thread wants you to do. I guess the thread wants me to make it 4 wide or 4 thick. All right. So here's the second one. And then you loop that around your loop your thread around your needle, and then you do that stitch there. Now I have to redeem myself, so I'm going to do the next one. But there is 1B. And then maybe this one I'll make it so that it has the wings coming out on both sides. I think that wing might be a little bit too long. What do you guys think? If you go back into the exact same hole that your thread's coming through, you can undo. And I didn't undo. So that is going to be the length. And I'll try to make it even on the other side. And then I'm running out of thread, but just make sure that your thread can go around your needle like that. And then do that stitch to keep it together. Alright, I did not make it as long as the other one at all. Alright. But that's what it's gonna be. And because I couldn't get that to come out, I need to clip it there. I'm glad I called this one Help. I'm a noob. I'm an embroidery noob because I made like every possible mistake doing quite possibly the simplest embroidery ever. But yeah, I mean this one here is super duper cute. So I think if I add like some more wings going on over here, then that one might look better, but I might just leave it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it. I'm almost at an hour, so I'm gonna finish this later. Thank you so much for watching. And let me know if you're watching this on demand. Let me know if you're curious at all to watch my embroidery foibles, my other embroidery foibles and mishaps and stuff. But thank you so much for watching this one, and I will see you next time. Bye.